Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do a pareidolia inspired artwork by Keith Larson. So a pareidolia artwork is basically, a pareidolia photograph is where you take a photograph of something but you can see a face within it. So here you can see that this little rock looks like it has two eyes and a mouth. Okay, so this is a psychological anomaly where we see images that aren't really there. So we're going to find one that we can do an artwork on. So here's an image that looks like a plug for a light. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it into my sketchbook. And I'm just going to make sure it's quite large so I can make a drawing. And when I'm happy, I'm just going to pop it in. So what we want to do to create this artwork is we want to use this image to now draw the face that I see so that I can create an artwork from that. So to do that, the steps that I'm going to take is I'm going to lock this layer to start off with. I'm then going to create a new layer to do my drawing on. I'm going to be using the pencil number 4. I just find this is a really nice clean tool to draw with. I'm going to make sure that I put on my predictive stroke. That way when I do my line drawing, it will just make it a little bit smoother for me so it's not so broken up. So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline all of the features that I see that make the face. After I've done that, I'll then add some features to finish it off, making it look like a face. So I'll stop halfway and just explain that to you. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to sketch out that drawing. I'm just going to hopefully speed it up so you don't have to sit and watch the entire thing. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've outlined my image. So if I just use this eyeball here to make my photographic layer invisible, you can see the drawing that I've done. So what I want to do now, I've outlined all the things that I think make up the face. What I need to do now is go in and add all of the things that are going to finish this off to look like a face. So I'll add in a tongue and I'll add in some eyeballs and I might even maybe add in something that might finish off the shoulders and so on. So I'm going to get ahead and do that now. Alright, so there you have it. I've added in some extra features so it actually appears like a face with some eyes and a tongue now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to colour this in and then add some textures for some definition. So I'm just going to go around now and I'm going to add some colours and then I'll show you how to do some textures. I'm just going to use the bucket to add colour so it's nice and easy. So when you select the bucket tool, just make sure you're on a solid colour and not the gradient tool. And I've added my colors. The next thing I want to do is I want to add some texture. What texture will do to our image is just make it look a little bit more interesting and not so flat like a cartoon. So to do that I need to go to Google and I'm going to type texture in my search. And I'm going to find a texture that I think is really interesting. So where's an example? Here's a really great sort of texture. It looks rough. And so I'm going to add this into my image so you can see that underneath the color. So to do that, I just need to pop it onto Sketchbook so you can copy it or insert it into your document. You will notice that that is now a new layer. I just want to make sure that it's big enough that it covers the area of that color. So I want to attach it to the dark green here. So I just need to make sure that my image is large enough to cover that space. Alright. What I need to do now is I want that image to be below my color drawing for what I'm going to do next. So I'm just going to move that below my drawing in my layers. Okay. The first thing that I've noticed here is that you can actually see this image where there's meant to be white because I didn't color the white in, so I'll go back and I'll just quickly color those in white. Okay, so I've got my texture below my color image. Now this process might seem tricky, but it's not. It's just a matter of following them in order. So I have my color image layer and then I've got my texture layer below. I need to be highlighted on my color image layer for the first step. I'm going to go to my selection tool and I'm going to make sure that I have my magic wand selected and I'm going to select that green. Now if you have colors that are next to each other and they're quite similar and it's picking up on more than one color, you can play around with the tolerance here, and depending on what your tolerance number is will determine how much your computer is going to register that color. Okay, so if you find out it's picking up on more than one, play around with your tolerance. Alright, so I've got my green selected. I'm now going to click on my texture layer and you can see that my selection is still here, but now I'm on the texture layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invert my selection. So currently it's selecting inside the green. When I invert my selection, which is this one here, it selects everything outside. So if I, you can probably see it down here on the bottom, you can see I now have a marching ants, or the selection on the outside. It's now selecting all of the areas that are not that green color. So what I can now do on my texture layer here is I can grab my, my eraser tool, and I'm just going to make my brush really big so it's quick and easy. I can now erase everything that is not inside that green area. I'm just going to deselect. Control D is deselect, or you can go back in here and press the red button to deselect that selection. So just to show you what I've done, if I eyeball or make my layer images in, I've just deleted anything that is not in that green area. So I'm left with my texture in the green area. Now what I can do, I'm just going to move that back up top. I'm just going to soften this back. So here where it says 100, I'm going to change that. This is the transparency, so how invisible that layer is. So I'm going to just drop it back to about 50. So what you can see now is that I can see my texture, but I can also see my color. And so it makes that simple flat color now a texture. So I'm going to do that one more time, just with a different texture, just to give it some interest. And then I might put something in the background, and then I think that might be finished. So I'm just going to see how that looks. So there you have it. So I've used my photographic image to do a line drawing. I've then colored in my areas, and then using my select and invert, I've added some textures and changed the transparencies. And there you have it. Good luck with creating your own Keith Larson Pareidolia inspired artwork.